today. Let me hit the yes. All right, we are officially live. I'm seeing the little line go across. I love to see that because it lets me know it's working. Now I'm going to mute my double talk. I am so glad to see you here. Today is day 8 of Sales Secrets Intensive. This is week 3, and this is day 2 of week 3. 8 days of training that I'm delivering to you, and let's get started. I don't want to delay because I've already had the delay, so I'm going to move forward with what I have for you today. Do you want to know what the secret is today that I am sharing? I'm actually starting to get joy about this secret because it's something that I think is very important if you want to move forward in your sales game. Now, for those of you who have been here with me, I want to give you a short recap of what happened earlier this week. On Monday, which was day 7, we had a vision sort of casting where we cast our visions and we went deep inside and we came up with a number. And I have seen a share inside the Facebook group that really warms my heart to see that. And what I am discovering in the visionary process is that when God created heaven and earth, and he created all the things, which is the wildlife and all of the things, the ocean, all the creatures in the ocean, when he created, and then he made us on day 6. He made man on day 6. And I really appreciate from the story in Genesis 1 is that when he created us, he had to take a day of rest right after that because he had worked hard. So sales doesn't mean it's going to come to you easy. It doesn't mean you have to work hard either. It just means it takes work. So as you cast that vision that you did on yesterday or Monday, whichever day you're listening to this in the replay, as you cast that vision, just know it's not like it's going to fall from the sky and come to you. It's going to take some work. So today is another expansion of the vision, and it's accountability. So today I want to peel the layers back on what it means to be accountable. What is accountability when we talk about the sales aspect? Now, the first piece of accountability, of course, by definition, accountability means you're providing information that you're responsible for. It's accurate, it's timely, it's a commitment that you've made by definition. However, if we peel the layers back, account, I want to share with you a biblical reference, biblical story. And this story has to do with the parable of the terrible talents. So I want to start out with reading a portion of this story. And then after I read the story, I want to share with you. I printed it out just so I wouldn't have to pull up my phone, but I may have to pull up my phone because it doesn't look like I printed it out. As I key up this story, I've mentioned this story before about the parable of the talents. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it goes to show what we have, we're accountable for. We're accountable for our bodies. We're accountable for what we put in our mind. We're accountable for the things we think, our thoughts. We're accountable for every aspect of what God's created. He created us, right, in his image. So are we thinking the thoughts that are high, beautiful, true, lovely, of good report? Are we thinking thoughts that are godly? And are we consuming foods that build our temple? I know I'm guilty of not necessarily doing that all the time, but I confess, I repent And I'm coming back to that because he's created us to be accountable for what he's given us. He's given us a sound mind, right? There's a scripture that says, God, and I quote this to my grandsons, God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So power, we have the power to create wealth. Love, we can serve through love, and a sound mind. We have a sound mind because we have the mind of Christ. Now, whether you're a believer or not, I think you can agree that those are pretty good principles to hold by. So for you, remember the rule of three. That's the rule that I'm going by in this complete intensive. I even went through the rules of three for the way I've presented this content to you. And I went through the rules of three when I did the self secret. So each day there are three concepts. And so as I read this parable of the talents, I'm going to find it. I want to keep looking at you while I look for it. But the parable of the talents, I want you to think about three key concepts that you can pull from this story because I have three to share with you. And let's see if you can catch them. So I will find the parable. Here it is, the landowner. This is in Matthew 21. Wait, nope, that's not. That's not the one I'm looking for. Let me try this again. Parable of the talents. You know what? I could probably Google it. Ha ha ha. I'm on YouTube. Why don't I just find another screen and Google it? That would probably be most efficient. Let me do that. So I'm going to pull up this other screen and pull up the parable of the talents. Well, while I'm pulling that up, I wanted to share, I'll start with this one rule about, or one secret, one key, one foundational principle about accountability. Remember, in the formula of accountability, it's you and one other, right? Sometimes it's you and multiple people. That's more of a partnership, a team, a collaborative effort. But accountability, who are you first accountable to? See if you can think about that as I'm pulling this up. Who are you accountable to first? I know Google is going to find this for me. So let's see, Google, I want you to find me the parable of the talent. And I apologize for not having this up, but are you thinking about who you're accountable to first? If you think about it, and you probably realize that you're accountable to yourself first. You're accountable to yourself first. So, do you tend to let yourself down? Do you commit to others more so than you commit to yourself? Think about how you show up in terms of, let's see, Google, come on, Google. How you show up in terms of, let's see, parable of the talents. Here we go. Thank you, Google. You are so good to me. It is in Matthew. Matthew 25. Matthew 25. So when you think about being responsible for yourself, and I've thought about this when it comes to having, in the military, we called it battle buddies. And in some leadership groups, we call it your buddy. So you have a buddy, someone else that you're accountable. You're accountable not for, but you're accountable with. When you have someone who's also trusting you to bring your game, to show up, to provide whatever the accountability agreement is, because you'll make an agreement in advance. We're about to embark on this 30-day sales journey. So I want to recommend you find a partner, not a partner, you find an accountability buddy, someone that you can partner with. Because if you know you have to report to them on your contacts, how many contacts you made, how many conversations you had, and how much cash you have, then you might have that top of mind. You might not let that slide because it's someone else. But what if it's just you? What if you are the only person that you're accountable for? Can you be accountable for yourself? Can you show up for yourself? And I have to say, in most cases, we will show up more for others than we'll show up for ourselves, me included. And so let's turn that around. Let's be accountable to ourselves. In other words, I want to use another word when I talk about being accountable for yourself. Let's be committed. Committed means that there is nothing that will keep you from it. I like the movie The Color Purple when Celie says, nothing but death will keep me from it. And she's talking to her sister who is sent away and she has to remain there. And her sister tells her she's going to write her. And she does write her letter after letter after letter. Long story short, she doesn't see the letters until years later. And she realizes that. So that nothing but death will keep me from it is that commitment I want you to have about yourself, about your goals, about your dreams, about your desires, about what you say you want to produce, right? What you say you want to produce because he has it all, right? God has it all. So let's go into this story. So you already have the one piece, right? What is that? You. You are accountable for yourself. Mind, body, soul, everything, the whole package. This is all you, all you. Okay. So here we go. We're going to Matthew 25. And if you have it, pull it up because it's not a long story, but there's salient points in there that I want you to grasp. We've already talked about the first one, which is you. Parable of the talents. Here we go. For it will be like a man, and I am reading the English Standard Version. I'm going to change that to NIV because I'm more familiar with NIV. Yep, here we go. NIV. There we go. Nope, it didn't shift it for me. Let me refresh. There we go. Okay, so we're in Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30. Parable of, in NIV, it's called bags of gold instead of talents. It's money, right? It's cash. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold. I kind of like that. Bags of gold. To another, 2 bags. And to another, 1 bag. Each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work, and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the one man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. How's that for compound interest? His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here it is. It's what belongs to you. His master replied, You wicked, lazy servant. You knew that I have harvested where I have not sown and gathered where I have not scattered seed. Well, then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I return, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even that they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Wow, that is profound. Did you find any keys in that story? Did you find any secrets in that story? I might have to look at it again to kind of recap some of those items, but I want to start with the 5 talent person, the 5 talent or the 5 bags of gold. There was a key word that I talked about at the very beginning, and it's work. Work. When God created us, when He created the heavens, when He spoke, let there be light, it was an action. You did that on Monday. You said, I will, whatever it is, you didn't put it down as a wish list, you put it as a declaration. And if you didn't, go back and make it a declaration, because you will, because He has it. So why wouldn't He give it to you? So let's just reframe how we're phrasing our vision, if I may say, because I need to do this too. I'm convicted that I'm not really thinking grand enough. I'm thinking small. I'm thinking small because I'm thinking of my abilities and not His abilities. I'm not thinking of the impossibilities. I'm not thinking of His possibilities. I'm thinking of my ability, right? And so this 5 talent person just went to work. He knew he had 5 talents, and he immediately, I love that, he immediately went to work. He went to work right away to cultivate what he had in his own hands. So what do you have right now that you can hit the ground running? There's something somebody needs that you have. They need it, not just need it, they want it. And it can only come through you. It can only come through you. But we're not going to go into how you can, well, maybe I will. I'll tap into this. There's ways to find those people. And I heard it from a good friend of mine who shared a video with me, but there's ways to cultivate the seeds. I call it cultivating the seeds. So there's all kinds of seeds out there, but they're not going to germinate unless you cultivate them with yourself, right? So that 5 talent person did this. He went out right away and he went to work. That's what it is. He went to work and he doubled it. He doubled. So 5 bags of gold, right? That wasn't, when I was thinking talent, I was thinking one, but a bag of gold, that's probably 1,000 gold coins. So could you imagine a bag? So 5 times 5, 25,000 coins, and you double it. So it's possibly 50,000 gold coins, which the value was probably greater than it is today. But all of that gold that the 5 talent person, because there wasn't a name, the 5 talent person did. He immediately went to work. I believe that's what the verse says. He immediately, let me see if I can find that verse again. Okay, I'm not going to find it right away. because I have too many windows pulled up, but that's okay. So the second talent person, did it say he went to work right away? I'm going to see if I can find that. I want to see if that second talent person went to work right away. If you have that and you get it before me, let me know. I'm trying to see if that second talent person went to, I'll just find it here. Let's see, parable of the talents. Again, I want to see if that second person went to work right away or not. Here, I found it again. Thank you, Lord. Okay, and again, I like the NIV. Sorry, ESV, but I like NIV. Just for purposes of teaching, it just makes it a lot easier to stay in sync. So the other two, to the one he gave 5, let me skip down to verse, and to him who would receive 5 talent, let me see, he had, it says according to their ability. That's it. So the 5 talent person, the owner who trusted them with these bags of gold, based it on their ability. He based that 5 talent one on his ability or her ability. And he based the 2 talent one on their ability. Now, when we go down, and he based the 1 talent one on their ability. So is there something that's limiting you from receiving all that's available to you because of your ability? So listen to these clues. The first talent, the 5 talent one went to work right away, right? The owner gave them talents based on their ability. So if you increase your ability, you increase your capacity, then you're able to receive more, then you're able to make more, right? You've heard that saying, it takes money to make money. Well, the more money you have, the more money you can make. So that's based on your capacity, and that's based on the abilities that are in you. God's given us all gifts and abilities, and it's tapping into those gifts and abilities that will be your accelerator, your motivator, that'll help you create this reach that you want so that you can hit the finish line. Okay, so the 2 talent one, that's what I was looking for. And here it goes, 5 talents. His master said to him, well done. Okay, you've been faithful over little. That was the 5 talent. Okay, here we go. And he also who had the 2 talents came forward, saying, you delivered me 2 talents. Here, I have made, so this one made 2 talents more. So the first one, I'm noticing a difference there. So the second talent person, even though he doubled his talents, he made more. So maybe he had a different type of skill, a craft. Maybe he had a product and not a service. There's so much that you can extract from what's being said. And if we go back to that 5 talent person, I have made 5 talents more. Okay, so both of them made. I just happened to pick that up in the second one. So the second one said he made 2 talents more. So both of them used what they had and they made more, and it was based on their ability, and they both went to work. So that's the difference between being able to create more, being able to make more, is increasing your capacity to receive more, and then increasing the drive to continue on the work that's required. Do you stop in the middle because you're not receiving the benefits? Or are you working to serve? Are you working to serve? Are you working to hone your craft? Are you working to hone your skills so that you can increase your capacity to receive more, and you'll be able to take what you're receiving and reinvest it into areas that will help you to grow and serve more. And so now we get down to the one talent person. The one talent person who says here, after the well done, good and faithful servant, we are down to the one talent. He who had received one talent came forward. So there must be like reporting, like this is accountability. They are reporting to the owner because they receive some money, talents, gold. They received this, and now they have to report what did they do with it. So if this was you and you were given this, how would you report? I've had leaders tell me, well, what if I gave you $1 million today? What would you do with it? What if I gave you $100,000 today? What would you do with it? According to this parable of the talents, if you're not investing, if you're not sowing, if you're not helping to generate more income, then this says you're a wicked and lazy. What did it say? Say, but the master answered him, you wicked and slothful servant. Ooh, that sounds harsh. Ouch. You knew that I reap where I've not sown and gather where I've not scattered seed. Then you ought to have invested money with the bankers. And at my coming, I should receive what was my own with interest. Wow. So today, and I've hit the 30-minute mark just by going over the story, but I think it's so important to learn from these stories. These biblical stories, these parables are there to teach us. And just in rereading it, I'm finding new revelations, new layers. Where do you see yourself in the story? When you read these stories, think application. How can I apply this to myself? How am I increasing my ability? How am I casting a larger vision for what I want to do? Besides the money piece, what is it that I want to do with the money? How am I going to invest it? How am I going to grow it? How am I going to scale it? So that's what I want to bring home today. I want to bring home the fact that we need to be accountable to ourselves. There is work required. There's work required. And there's a capacity within us that we need to open up by investing, right? Those abilities. And you've done that here. You've invested your time, you've invested your money. This is an investment. So I don't take this lightly. However, don't take it lightly with the next step. What are you pouring out? How are you serving in the sales process? Now, I did upload a video in the Facebook group that I'd like you to take a look at. It's a session that I did with Dr. Coker, Claudia Coker. And the reason I think that's important is because when you look deep down inside, the conversation that you're having is with you. You're having a conversation with the Father, with the Son, and with the Holy Spirit. Because He made us in His image, right? So if He made us, He's the manufacturer. Why not go to the manufacturer to see how this product is supposed to work? Makes sense. I think that's what Miles Monroe says. Why not go to the manufacturer? When we purchase products, even though I didn't do that with my Apple phone, I didn't read the manual, the little fine print. However, if you want to work a product the way it's designed, then why not go to the manufacturer to see, okay, I need to know how this works for me. I need to understand how you've designed me works for this service that I want to provide. How does it work? You learn that by getting in close conversation with the Father. Oh, that's so important. It's so important. I'm learning that there's work to do. There's work to do. And I will continue the work. I will continue the work because someone needs to hear this. He that has an ear, let him hear. So hear what's being said. Read, study, invest in yourself, grow, and find an accountability partner. Now, I keep saying the word partner. Find an accountability buddy, someone that you can link arms with and say, this is the direction I'm going. Help me stay on course. If I fall off course, be there not to pick me up, but to say, you can do it. You can do it. Get back on course. It's like having a cheerleader. And you're going to do the same because this isn't a receive, receive, receive. This is also a give. It's a give and take, ebb and flow. And so I've way past my 30 minutes, I believe. I did start it a little later, but let me see how I'm doing on time. If I can see that. No, I can't see that. I cannot see that. But I have an estimate of how much time it is, and I believe I'm right there. So I want to thank you for joining me on day 8 of our 3-week Sales Secrets Intensive. We have one more day. Can you believe it? One more day. And that'll be Friday, and I will announce that time. I haven't decided on that time yet because I will be traveling to DC to participate in a national march on Washington in commemoration of the march that happened 60 years ago when I was just a baby. So it's my birthday present to myself. So thank you for being here with me. I will see you all on Friday. Thank you.